Good evening and welcome to another segment of In His Own Words. This is where we give African American men the opportunity to speak for themselves. Today I'm here with Clinton Bailey, the Initiative Director from Boys to Men Inc., and he's going to talk to us about some of the issues that non-custodial parents face in the child support system. And he's also going to talk about From Boys to Men's initiative for non-custodial parents, which is the Non-Custodial Parent Advocacy Initiative. So Clinton, what are some of the issues that non-custodial parents face when dealing with the child support system?
Well, there's several different things that non-custodial parents deal with. To start with, mostly the non-custodial parents, a majority of the time, are men. And for some reason, men have more trouble with the child support system than women do.
And why do you think that is?
I personally feel that the system itself has the tendency to provide more rights for the women, and unfortunately men just don't have the same rights to children or the services of children as women do.
Do you feel that there's a bias in the child support system against towards custodial parents?
I think it's a legal biasness, and it's not just necessarily from a personal individual standpoint, but they also have the law itself to kind of support their feelings.
So there is a way for non-custodial parents to get rights. It's called legitimation. Is that a good process? Do you see that being a good way to assert your rights in the court system, or are there some issues with that?
Well, legitimation is actually very necessary. It's with all fathers that are not married to the kid's mother. Mm-hmm. They have to go through the process of being legitimated.
Why is that?
Now, because legitimation basically gives you parental rights. Few people understand this, but in the state of Georgia and pretty much all other 50 states, you do not have legal rights to your child as a father unless you are married to the mother.
At the time the child is born.
At the time the child is born. Legitimation basically gives you parental rights outside of the fact of just providing monetary values or providing child support. That's all you're obligated to do. Mm-hmm. And those are the only rights that you have. It's not even a right. Those are the obligations that you have as a father.
Right.
But to have the decision about what's the well-being for the child, if the mother, God forbid, anything happened to her, that child could possibly become a ward of the state or be given to the mother's, her parents or their friends or family, whomever they choose is suitable other than you.
Really?
Yes.
Because the father isn't legitimated, they would give it to a stranger first?
Absolutely. They would give the child to a stranger first. Only thing that a father will have is the obligation of paying child support. And unfortunately, a lot of men mistake the fact that because they are paying child support, they feel that they have right. Paying child support does not give you the right to have visitation. That is a complete separate system from the child support system.
So what does a non-custodial parent have to do to get legitimated?
Okay, legitimation is a two-part process involving the non-custodial, which will be typically the father, and is also involving the court system itself. The non-custodial have to go through the process of filing for paternity, of course, declaring that the baby is his biologically, and then of course you go through the court process of filing for legitimation. That is the farther the father himself can go from a standpoint if they don't do it when the child is first born. Now, after that process, it goes to the court decision. For instance, now if the father decides to do legitimation right after the child is born, that process probably moves relatively smooth without any problems or any hindrances. But it could be a possibility if the father waits, say, 6, 7, maybe 5 years from now, and then go to a judge and ask that he want to now become, be the legitimate father of the child. The judge has a decision to base his decision upon not just the fact that what the paternity test says, but they kind of look at his track record. Has he been supportive? Has he been coming around the child? Has he been providing services himself for the child? And those things are based upon the judge's decision. So that's why it's really important upon once you get your paternity test done to go ahead and file the process of legitimation immediately after.
There's a general conception that non-custodial fathers are deadbeat, but then there are some fathers that are, really great dads. They just, never married the mom. Does the child support system treat those two types of dads differently?
Consider a father that has, say, been on child support system since his wife and him were divorced maybe 10 to 15 years ago. This man has been paying into the system for the 10, 15 years. Their last child is possibly 12, 13 years old, and the guy gets sick, or he chooses to change a career path, or he's forced, he loses his job. Now, in the system, he's been paying no problem for the whole 12 to 15 years. But this particular year, he go through these hardships or just a change. He is treated just like a guy that has never made an effort to pay child support, never cared, don't even care, don't visit the kids, never see the kids. When he goes to their office, those caseworkers are going to not look at him and base it on their payment history, or even take the time to look at the case and see. You can determine a lot by just looking at the case itself. They treat everybody exactly the same.
In a negative way.
In a negative way, absolutely. If he's 38 days behind, she has the right to file an abandonment warrant on him. If he is 60 days behind, they start threatening and possibly suspending his driver's license, business license, passports, etc. Now, this could be his first time
missing a payment, or just having the hardships of not being able to maintain the payment. Such as job loss.
Absolutely. There's nothing to differentiate between the types of guys. And I think that is something that's one of the things I was talking about the unfairness. I feel that something like that can be resolved simply by taking the time to just examine the case. Treat every case differently, accordingly to how it presents itself.
Okay. So what should some fathers do when they first get involved with the child support system?
I'll always tell fathers to be proactive if they can about the child support system. When I mean proactive, if you have a child with a woman and you guys are not in a relationship, you should take the initiative yourself to try definitely to have a good relationship with the mother. But if you feel as they're heading toward that direction, to go down to child support yourself and sit with a caseworker and begin to process yourself, of placing yourself actually on child support.
You feel like that would be a better thing?
I recommend it for several reasons. Because a lot of times, you have change of address, you move, and when they send out these subpoenas or when they send out these court orders to you, sometimes if you're not in a place of the position where they're sent to, they can proceed on without you. And you'll be receiving a letter saying that you're about to receive garnishment from your check, or you might receive a letter saying you're not in contempt of court and you never knew about it. So I tell all fathers to be involved, to go down, never avoidance. Go down, talk to the people, and find out what you can and what you cannot do.
So what are some of the things that the Non-Custodial Parent Advocacy Initiative is doing to help non-custodial parents?
We feel as if the non-custodial parents don't have a voice when it comes to the child support system. Our voice is not what we feel and what we say, it's what they think and perceive of us. So our objective is not only to say that we have a voice, but we want to kind of change the stereotypes of how people perceive non-custodial parents. For instance, the negative stereotypes are saying that all fathers are deadbeats, primarily, especially all black fathers are deadbeats. We don't care about our children. And what we're trying to do is change those stereotypes and prove that, for instance, a lot of times there's a difference between just being a deadbeat father and a dead broke father. And helping young men realize the importance of their roles in their father's life, in the kids' lives. We try to push the idea to help mothers and fathers learn the importance of co-parenting to make things better for the child all the way around. We're not just working from a standpoint of the family structure, but we also have division where we're working legislatively with some of the government officials are trying to come with different strategies that we may help interject into the system. Not change the system, but offer some solutions that we may feel will be not only beneficial for the children, but for both parents, both sides of the family.
That is really awesome, and I wish you guys the greatest success and everything that you're doing in the future. Thanks so much for talking to me this evening.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure to be here.